I'm Snyder, and today we're going to be making chocolate chip cookies. The first step of the recipe is to mix together the flour, the salt, and the baking soda. So that's what we're going to do. Now we need to heat up the butter to a bit of a softer state so we can mix it in with the other things. So you only want to heat it for about 5 seconds so it doesn't melt too much. Alright, the next step of the recipe is to mix together the 2 sticks of butter, the 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, the 3/4 cups of sugar, the 3/4 cups of brown sugar, and all mix them together in this one big bowl. So that's what we're going to do. Alright, so now you add in the eggs one at a time. There are 2 of them. So first you add in the first one. Usually it goes a little smoother than that. And then you have to put that in there. It's not very pretty, but it tastes good in the end. Add in the second egg. Usually you try to keep the shells out of the mixture. So once you're done mixing, you add in the flour mixture. So we'll dump that in now. Again, this has the baking soda and the salt in it. Once you're done mixing together all the flour and the egg and other stuff mixture, then you add in the chocolate chips, which is about 1 cup of them. So you add that in, and you mix that in with the dough. Sheet. So you're using an ungreased sheet. So you're just going to get a big spoonful. Now that you're done putting the cookies on the sheet, you're going to put them into the oven, which should have been preheated to 375 degrees Fahrenheit. And so now you're going to put the cookies in there. Heat transfer is the movement of heat between objects based off of their temperature and pressure systems. There are overall 3 different types of heat transfer. There's conduction, convection, and radiation. Conduction is the heat transfer that's used through the direct contact of molecules, so from matter to matter. Convection is heat transfer through the natural movement of fluids, and radiation is a heat transfer basically moving through empty space. And so what we're going to be seeing is when cooking cookies, we're going to be using an oven. And in an oven, there are basically 2 main types of heat transfer that are taking place, and that's convection and conduction. Now, convection is mainly going to happen when the coils on the top of the oven heat up the air and the grate and the tray inside of the oven, and the natural movement of the air through the oven where the hot air rises lets that air basically heat up the entire space. While conduction helps heat up the tray and the grate and the shelf that they're all sitting on to help cook the cookies themselves. However, other types of heat transfer can be used in other types of cooking systems. For example, convection can be used in a system where you're cooking noodles, where the natural movement of the water helps cook the noodles, or radiation can be used in a microwave if you're heating up a potato or something like that. So because heat itself is a measure of the movement of molecules, with heat transfer you're just measuring the increased movement of molecules. So while you're heating up the cookies, all that's really happening is the molecules inside the cookies are just moving at a faster pace. Cookies have their cultural link because cookies have their origins in Europe, and I'm largely European in case you didn't notice. But also the recipe that we're going to be using has been a family recipe within the Snyder family for generations and generations in the past. So now that the cookies are cooked, we're going to take them out of the oven.